Hey everybody, welcome back to Fire Pit TCGs. This is Hellfire, and I'm here with round one of the WiXoss Grand Prix held in Osceola Heritage Park in Florida, hosted by Carta Magica. So as we saw from the decks that have cycled on the screen at this point, you already know we're in for a good one. Two different virtual decks, but two completely different centers. We have Toko versus Alfou for this round one, setting the tone for the entire GP. Toko with Machina and Lise assists, Alfou with Earth and Lise assists. So the Toko deck tends to want to focus on a lot of minus power stuff, considering the considering her collab livers do give minus 8k whenever it is, but we see it as a majority white package, so I'm guessing there's just enough black to be able to do what needs to be done. It also looks like it wants to play a little bit defensively. The Alfou deck is capitalizing on the mill plan that you could run with a Mito deck because of Alfou's once per turn effect. Alpha's once per turn effect at level 3, whenever opponent refreshes, you either draw one or intercharge one, which plays really nice with Celine Girl's Moon Knight. So opening out, we see an intercharge of Sarah, a play of Elria? I don't remember how to say her name. Double play of her on play, doing the top check 2, leave one on top, the other one goes to bottom. I missed the first one, but the second one will be entirely... Looks like an under-attractive and Himawari on the top. I feel like you would value the Himawari somewhat in this matchup, but it looks like he valued the under-attractive on top instead. And now off to Alfou. So Alfou's lineup also looks like it's using the actual like Celine Girls Academy package here. You've got Chigusa, you've got Songo, Hisui. Trying to remember them all off the top of my head without cheating. There's 3. Oh, it's just those 3, so it's not the full like oh wait, no, yeah, it is just those 3 in the deck, so it's not the full power line, but the Songo's ability is still pretty strong in general, allows for a lot of toolboxing because it's a mill 3, and then you get to put a virtual Signy from trash onto the field, and it's not color locked, so you can afford to run a little bit less of some other key Signy, since Suo will basically count as extra copies himself. Grow to Earth. Earth Scare here, almost said Afflict, excuse me. Vanishing the center out and milling force. So there goes the under attractive, there goes an Exia, Petra, and a Servant. So I'm actually wondering if the under attractive was meant to be put on top instead, because knowing the opponents on Earth, you can almost bet they're going to be on Scare Afflict. Since Scare is a mill 4 on Grow, you just want to keep the cards you'd rather have in your deck at any point in time, even if it means putting it to the bottom. So opening out with a Debbie, no need for the Debbie effect on enter, since, well, the other card doesn't exist. Well, let me rephrase that. The 2K won't clear the Elria, but if she had the corresponding Rion, that'd be a minus 5k, which could, but that's a level 3, so we're not worried about that there. First burst damage is going to be Kokoro, so that's just going to get rid of the Debbie. Larig swing has the Servant, beautiful Salome Servant, and back to Toko. So draw of under attractive and what looked like, I want to say that was a Fuyuki, but I didn't quite catch it. It either was a Fuyuki or potentially a Rena, from what I could tell from the art. Grow 2, paying out that under attractive. So Actually, what could be play here, depending on what is in the Toko player's hand. He's level 2 now. He does have his Machina Wing Slash available to get the free open 3 from clearing the Hisui. So there's that. And what is the salvage option here? There really isn't much. Like this is a pretty low value salvage here because you can't grab a guard. So it looks like a salvage of nothing. There's no level 1s in trash outside of those guards. Probably should have paid out the Sarah that is currently in his enter, but I could see the value for keeping that there since it is both white and black. And seeing as a majority of stuff in the deck that he is running does want that white. By majority, I mean the Todo Kohakus and Nishizo and Chigusas. Only things that really need white, so you do want to try and conserve as much of the white enter as possible. Not to mention the white cost on his Lise level 2. So he's going straight into after school. So look, it is a look at 5, add 2 virtual. If he exceeded 4, which he did not, he would be able to enter charge here, but since his Lise is still level 0, he doesn't have the exceed 4 available quite yet. But just opting to get the cards in hand, probably needs playables, especially after whiffing on the Wing Slash salvage. So I see a Toto that's not going to really do anything, but he's going to grab a Fuyuki, and he's going to grab... What's that other card? Oh, he's going to grab Kana. So, Kana on enter does give a little bit of protection here. Cross turn. Well, sorry, not cross turn, but during the turn. Or during the opponent's turn. So, one thing is going to be saved from just getting vanished in general. Bouncing still applies since, well, it's obviously not a vanish. He's going to choose the Fuyuki to get the Kana effect here. Yeah, sticking with the Fuyuki to get the Kana effect here. So that Fuyuki on defense cannot be vanished by Larig or Signy that are level 2 or less. Which, the only thing that really applies to would probably be Earth Afflict and the... Well, honestly, just the Earth Afflict. Everything else that can remove Signy all give minus power, so that's not being vanished by an opponent's effect. That's just vanished by rule in that case. Swing with the Kana, swing with the Fuyuki. Still no burst. Swing with Elria. Elria, still no burst. Sorry, that is a burst. That is, can't stop one, draw one. So we'll get the draw since there's nothing to prevent to attack. Is there the guard? There is the guard. So it is back to the Alpha player here. A little bit of a decision on what to enter charge here. They're really, seeing as the full Sling Girls package isn't being used here since there's the, oh, I forgot about Akane. So there's 4, unless I'm missing the 5th looking at this. Sorry, all 5. Forget what I said earlier. All 5 are in here. So it's probably a sense of which ones does she want in enter zone. For the Songo, since Songo's effect needs to see all 5 Sling Girls Academy on field and enter zone, so the more you can hold in your, or at least 5 different Sling Girls Academy between field and enter zone, you want to try and be careful with how many of each that you have on you and in your enter at any point in time here. So now at level 2, only possible play that I see for a hole is using using Toto to potentially clear a hole. We'll see Petra. Petra needs a mill 3 virtual to get plus 3k, and we see the hit. So Petra is a 12k cross turn. So I see 2 Totos, and I can't make out the other 3 cards, but I see 2 Totos. So honestly, best play here would probably be Toto, get rid of Fuyuki. Or, actually both were kind of weird, I guess. You can use Toto, get rid of one of the level 1s, grow the Lise, and get rid of the other level 2 if it is the bounce Lise. I don't know entirely off the top of my head if it is the bounce Lise. I don't think it is. So looking to play just Debbie Debbie down center. Debbie Debbie would clear that Fuyuki actually. So if she opts to pay the black and give minus 2k to the Fuyuki, that does clear the Fuyuki here. But instead not, just opting to keep all the enter instead. So going to attacks, no stops needed. Petra is going to swing over, Debbie Debbie is going to swing over. Reina burst. Reina is going to salvage 2 virtual, so there's a little bit of hand back. Perfect setup for the level 3 turn here. Looks like grabbing... So we get a Chigusa, and we get... Can't get that Exia. Unfortunately, Exia is not a virtual here. Exias in this deck is a really interesting idea. Unfortunately, you have to draw into them since they're not virtual traits. So we'll get Chigusa, and we'll get Kohaku. Lurig swing. I don't think he has the Servant in hand, so that's going to be damage. Chigusa damage. And on to the first level 3 turn by Toko here. Draw 2. Top deck Servant. Didn't quite see what that second card was. A lot of white in hand. I don't think you really need to enter charge here. Potentially, unless you want to have extra enter. Since the opponent's not really bouncing anything and just opting to clear, he could avoid to just enter charge entirely in this case. See the grow to Toko 3. Paying out that Reina and a Fuyuki. 6 limit going into this turn here, so it's not really many options. Could burn both of the Collabolivers to make 2 holes from the for the Kohaku and the Debbie Debbie. Since Patra is 12k, you'd have to burn both just to clear that one. However, he is on sword, so if you really wanted to waste that, he could just burn a collabo on Petra, use sword to bounce to give options to level 2 for the next turn, and then use the other collabo on either one of the others without knowing what's in his hand. It's a little rough. So we are going to see the sword. Swords are going to return. Ew, I wouldn't return that to hand. That seems like a bad idea to return to hand. I would have returned the Debbie at least, but I guess if you have to pick two evils in this case, well, the other thing of not actually no, the other thing of not returning that to hand is now there's basically a free Celine Girls that Alpha player can throw into Enter Zone. Which looks like right now 2 or 3 of the 5 are assembled. Because I see the art for Saku and I see the art for Sango. Couldn't tell you what the other card is, even though I probably said it earlier, just at a glance. I think it's Chigusa. No, that's not Chigusa. It's a to be continued. So playing a Hanma, paying the 1 for the action to check 3, add a Signy, 1 goes back on top, the other goes on bottom. So it looks like we're adding we're adding one of his copies of Yotsuha, which is another big body on board, since she can just bottom deck something to since she can just bottom deck a Virtual Signy and Trash to give herself plus 4k. So she does stay a little bit sticky on board, being at 7k, but she's still really interesting. She's still free target for some vanishes, especially looking at this deck. Since there's the since there's the Reina going into next turn potentially, which is a minus 4k with a Fuyu. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong deck for that one. So with Takamai Rion, it does dodge that slightly, since the 7k is above the 6k threshold that Rion can put out, except double Rion would be an easy clear. Toto bouncing the Debbie back to hand. And the the Yotsuha down the left side in front of the Patra. It's going to be an underswing there. So Patra will be able to clear on the crackback, which at this point I don't think is an issue. Probably trying to deny a little bit of enter here. Bottom decking a Patra for the enter effect. Now it is on to the attack phase here, I believe. So at this point, let's see, burns a collab here. I believe at this point, a scare would be minus 10k if you do the mill first. So that clears everything except the Hanma. Hanma is 12. Oh, so there's 4 cards in enter there. 1 hidden. So paying out Songo. So we're doing the Earth Afflict play, so we're doing the Mill 4 first. Oh, that would be a minus 11k unless there's a 12th card that I forgot about. So let's see, how many cards do we have in trash here? 1, 2, 3... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards exactly, so I can get rid of the Hanma, so that way the shadow isn't there for the next turn. So that just leaves the Toto and an underswinging Petra here. Underswing with the Yotsuha first. Toto swing, revealing Lane. So Lane can hit anything that's level 2 or less, so that's just a free vanish. Toto getting vanished here. Lorig swing. Do we see the servant? Yep, there is the servant. So back to Alfou. I don't know how many cards are in Toko's deck currently. I don't think there's enough for an OPG refresh here. I think there's still at least... There has to be at least more than 8 here. But the grow here is just going to vanish that Yotsuha since Alpha, that just makes the free hole for Alpha. So there's a free 3 hole for Alpha player off of bursts and grow alone. So this does put Toko in a spot here. 4 life cloth left. Basically playing with 3 should Alfou decide to just shotgun Obsidia Salvage into Moon Knight and just get 1 refresh off, which I don't think is the correct play. So we're going to see... Looks like the... I think that's the top check 7 add 2 black, if I remember correctly, or top check 5 add... No, it's the top check 7 add 2 black. Adding Lane and adding... What would be a good add here in this case? Maybe a Rion? Actually, no, Rion wouldn't be here. Like, a double Lane would be nice. She doesn't have the Songo set up, so could add another Petra or a Saku here. Because, actually, no, Saku wouldn't be that much of a defensive option here. So, like, the black options are pretty limited. So, it's just... The lane's a good pick because it's free mill and gets closer to the refresh that is needed. It looks like we'll just get a Hisui for the second black card. So lane will mill 3, potentially 7 more, if the total level is 7 that is milled this way. So the other thing too is it does provide some protection, some vanish protection. The only thing it doesn't provide vanish protection on is minus power. Since even if you vanish the lane in as sacrifice for the other one, the power doesn't reset if you vanish the lane. But it's still good protection, especially if this Hanma fails a top check. So it looks like we're just going for the once per game right off of the bat here with Alfou. instead of waiting for a potential double refresh play, unless there's enough cards in deck that that lane could actually hit. So honestly, Exia's honestly might be a bait in this deck to ban it, or to exclude from the game from the Alpha OPG. But it looks like we'll see 1 Exia gone, 2 Exia gone. I would get rid of that Chigusa that's in there. I wouldn't want my opponent to have access to Chigusas. So Chigusa will go as well, so these 3 will be excluded from the game. From the Alpha OPG. And then, beginning of attacks. That is exactly 3, if I counted that correctly. So lane will mill the bottom 3. Total level of 7. Ooh. So, how this would resolve is the total level milled is 7. The lane is still in effect resolution, so you wouldn't get the mill 7 after refresh here. Because refresh will just, since the ability is still resolving, the refresh will still hold until the full ability is resolved. The mill 7 can't happen. So it's just a free refresh point here. So refresh was a Sara, choosing to enter charge off of the once per game refresh. So Toko's now down to 3 life cloth, basically 2, because we still have there is still there is still Obsidia Salvage into Moon Knight available for Alpha. And now the options for Toko are a little bit sus for the Smash Salvage. However, need to get rid of that Hanma. That Hanma needs to go, because that is going to prove to be a problem on defense if it gets Shadow. So just not growing here. Bold move. Banking on bursting into some luck here. So no burst, no burst. Burst? Yes, burst. No burst. Yeah, mill 2 from the Heat Sweep first. Servant bursts. Oof, not really good options here. It does make Moon Knight a little less potent, I would say. Just opting to take all of the damage at that point, knowing the Moonlight would be up, might be fine here. I don't think it's the correct play, but it might be fine in the end. But it is back to Toko. So draw, then Enervating Melody, plus something else. There is a Chigusa in his hand, so he might just opt for Larig Swing into... or just multi-Larig Swings and try and set up a board that can't be contested. Which is still going to be rough because Alfou still has the Lise level 2 available, and if it's not the bounce Lise, so there's no holes potentially to be made on defense. The Lise that the Alpha player is running is Ice Wall. So this isn't a guarantee for Alpha to win here, but it's still going to be rough regardless. So at this point, burning a collab to make a free hole would be the best bet in my opinion. Because free damage is free damage. Could also burn a collab to make the burn a collab to make the lane under 5k, and then vanish. That's rough actually. Lane makes the once per game only vanish. No, Lane makes the once per game still vanish too, funny enough. Because you could substitute the lane for the Hisui. But for like the Toko once per game, for example. But it's still, even with the replacement effect, lane is still going to, even with the replacement effect, the Hisui is still going to get vanished. So the Toko once per game does clear both here. It's fine. So both once per games exhausted. Still 2 collabo livers open. Now it's just setting up a board that can't be touched, which might be rough. Definitely going to need to play that Kohaku in his hand. He has no guards in hand, so... sorry, not Kohaku. Kokoro. Definitely need to play that Kokoro, so that way can salvage a guard, at least. What to pay out here? Plethora of options, but none of them really. You have to basically pick which ones you don't care to get refreshed back in deck because of Moonlight. Because Moonlight will just empty out the trash again. Especially considering, you know, Smash. Another guard in hand, another guard in enter, so at least the Lise level 2 for Toko will still have a guard to grab later, which isn't terrible actually. Is he going to burn? No, he's not. No, don't. Oh, man, he's burning Smash early. Probably wants the limit. Unfortunately, the Smash can't target anything. Unless he just values getting that Kokoro back. Probably values the limit. That's the only thing I can think of. Probably values the limit. Or there's something in his enter that he wants. I think those were 2 white cards that he's using to pay out, which he can't salvage. No, so misplay there. Should have been a judge call. Paid 2 white for that. Needs to pay a black to salvage off a Smash, but he paid 2 white, so he had black in his enter, but So Exia and well, Elria. Elria is not going to be able to do anything here, but free top check. Now we just go to swings. So this would be probably the freest. Honestly, it's probably the freest ice wall, honestly. Or could just opt to not ice wall here and save it for later, but 3 life cloth sounds a lot better than 3 life cloth sounds a lot better than 1. So ice walling those two, they can't attack. The Kokoro still can get over the Hanma, so the Hanma is no longer kind of a problem. Lurig swing, take the damage from Lurig swing. We see Petra burst. Petra can get rid of that Exia. That is probably the best possible scenario here. So discard, vanish the Exia. Why is the Exia being put in the trash? That should be vanished. Or that Exia should be in enter. So Elria is getting Shadow here, so there's at least one Signy that isn't going to be cleared. So we're going to see Obsidia Salvage. There's like 2 of the 3 have been picked already, so we see Saku and Yuika. As 2 of the choices. Yep, Saku, Yuika, and Yotsuha. So this is an open 2 board, knowing what is in the knowing what is in Toko players' Lurig deck still. Can't target the Elria, so it's just paying the cost at this point, since the see if there's a lot to take back there, which not. Probably just wanted the extra card in trash for the... Oh yeah, they'll just take it back. That's fine. Like, I understand the reason to not, but... Let's see here. That... This might actually be game. There is enough cards in trash to where the... I believe there is enough cards in trash to where the Saku could pay 1 and trash the minus 12k herself to minus 12k of the Kokoro. I didn't get a good count on the cards in trash, but if there is 15 cards in there, 15 or more cards in there, then that is more than enough to also vanish the Kokoro. Because they're just going through the entire thing. Yeah, the Lise is not going to be able to protect anything. So just accepting it there. Win to Alfou. Very interesting strategy with the Alfou. GG's to both players. Thank both players for appearing on the camera. So again, with that, Alfou goes on undefeated, taking the win into round 2. It's unfortunate there were some misplays. As always, just make sure you pay attention to your cards, folks. Like, I'm not here to rag on it, but pay attention to that stuff, because that should have been that could have been a judge call for that Machina smash, since 2 white were paid at the time. But other than that, that'll be it for round 1, and I will see you guys in round 2.